So how was
Yeah,
your overall
yeah.
experience with yesterday's event?
It was it was okay. I think we had initially Dr. Ali and me both were kind of not positive because the first three entries were actually not what we were looking at, and your award ceremony is a big thing
Right.
that we saw on the online platforms. So we were wanting to have some more concrete cases which we could assess and which were very close to CSR.
Mhm.
So I think between me and Dr. Ali, we discussed that the entries uh, during COVID, having this kind of a program, it's itself a big challenge, conducting it and executing it. But I think both of us agreed that the entries were some weak. Some of the entries were very weak as far as CSR is concerned. So, but that would we've been able to close down on the but the later part of the this thing competition. We did get very good entries.
Okay.
Very. In fact, the lady from Andaman, I think Garima, she's doing a fantabulous job. I think females are doing a fantabulous job.
Okay.
Most of the spheres and areas they're touching.
All
Yeah,
right. Great.
it was a wonderful experience,
Mhm.
and I think seeing. I would again keep it as a positive. That your organization took even those entries which were not very high on CSR, but I
Mhm.
think that's a point of encouragement for these uh, youngsters, because
Mhm.
they're just starting their journey
Right.
towards philanthropy,
Mhm.
or towards a social change. So I think that's a very good amount of encouragement for those kids also.
Mhm.
So overall, a very good experience.
Okay. Great. Great to
Yeah,
know all
yeah.
this. Okay. So I believe you already have the things which we're looking forward to discuss in the second round of our conversation today. Okay. So let's
Yes,
talk about
yes,
that.
yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so the first thing, I think your question was an LGBT
Mhm.
community, and what change CSR. So if I specifically talk about LGBT community in India, I think that's a gray area as far as the corporate world is concerned.
Mhm.
We need to go a long way in this space through CSR activities. There are many companies who have the Fortune 500 companies. Research of 2017 shows that 91% of them have policies made around,
Mhm.
the discrimination against such people in the workforce, and they have diversity and inclusion as a
Mhm.
very important parameter of their organizations. And I believe very truly that diverse workforce actually makes a very strong organization, to be very frank. So though 91% of top five Fortune 500 companies have those policies in place, but
Mhm.
I very truly believe, Pragya, that more than policies, we've seen that we've grown up with these things.
Mhm.
More than policies, what is most important is the implementation, and not only the implementation but a sensitization,
Mhm.
and at the ground level. So we were seeing a case, even yesterday we saw a case of a transgender a lady, Ruby. She's doing a fantabulous work with transgenders.
Mhm.
So they were not allowed to stand in the queue. They were harassed. They were, mocked at when they were
Mhm.
standing in a Russian queue. So I think this calls for a social change,
Right.
like a sati pratha, or tabooing females. I mean,
Mhm.
we still stereotype females. Females are not good drivers.
Mhm.
Okay, so we still taboo females. I have seen even my brothers doing it. If
Mhm.
I'm sitting beside my brother in his car, and there's a car going ahead, and the person has turned left and had to go right because the indicator was of the right,
Mhm.
you'd say it would be a woman. And I would just stop him there and then, see, it's not a woman. It's a man who has done this. So
Mhm.
I think there are a lot of stereotypes, there are a lot of taboos, there are a lot of those barriers which we have created in our own mindset. I think media has got a very strong role to play, whether it is the movies or whether it is news that we watch. I think media is a very, very important tool that can be used to sensitize people. Um, Government should make, has made, although brought in Section 377, but I didn't see any advertising around 377 on the television, to be very frank. There should be a campaign running. There should be a campaign running on the LGBT community and on the Section 377, on telling common people, that you cannot sexually discriminate people, or you cannot discriminate people just on the basis of their way of living a life, So I think everybody would have to come down together, whether it's government, whether it's civil society, whether it is media, and it would. The urgency is that it is run as a campaign. We saw these campaigns running abroad. But we didn't. I think that time will come in India when these campaigns will run. I'm very, very sure about that. There are companies, as I shared, like Godrej, Barclays, we have RBS, who have done a fabulous work when we talk about inclusion of these people in their workforce. But all said and done, I believe more than policies, we need to bring CSR on the ground level of through a campaign, through media, through newspapers, telling people that this is actually, violating the law. This is actually, in Hindi we say Sam Dam Dand Bhed, right? So human beings don't learn unless all those factors are included. So whatever tool has to be used must be used. And to be very frank, Pragya, we are in a country where we saw elephants being मुंह में डाल दिया, bomb डाल दिया, and they blasted. So we need to be more towards empathizing. We need to be more towards going towards sensitivity, and I believe our job has not been done as elders. We need to train. So it starts from home, and the mother is the first guru. Right? So it starts from parenting, that the parents start telling their kids as they're growing up that this is wrong, and this should not be done. And it moves back to the society like that. So I think it is every individual's responsibility to sensitize their kids who are going to be the future of the country, to be able to understand that everybody has a different way of living life. So it's a way of living life.
Right.
Okay, and it's a basic human right. I mean, and my being able to pursue my human right, my right to speech does not allow me to demean any person just because I have that right. I'm violating the right of the other person. So the balance also needs to be created. You cannot, if you have the right to speech, you cannot be speaking anything towards transgender or when he or when that person is standing in the queue for the ration.
Right.
Just because you have the right to speech. So I think all those things have to be taken up, and through CSR in the current COVID scenario, I think after the government allowed CSR to be considered the COVID-19 amount which is spent on COVID-19 to be considered under CSR, companies have had a relief and they are in a win-win situation already. But I think through webinars, through seminars, although in India, not many people have the access to internet. National survey says that only 27% of people in the urban areas have access and 5% of people in the rural areas have access to internet. But still, I think media, advertising, campaigns on the Facebook, through digital media, can be run because this is the young generation is on the digital media. It is, if it is not on not anywhere, it is there. It is on Instagram, it is on YouTube, it is on, and I think that sensitization should start going through Facebooks, through LinkedIn's, through those kind of platforms. Also, apart from the television as a media or a radio as a media, which has a bigger reach. So I think a lot needs to be done, and I'm very hopeful it is being done. In fact, yesterday I was having a conversation with Dr. Ali. Dr. Ali is also working on a project with transgenders.
Okay.
She was just trying to understand that during these times, how are they going to implement those projects?
Okay. Great. Well, what I feel the social acceptance happens to be the key for the inclusion of everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then creating a mindful society will also work out. Okay. So
Yes.
those three things are also there. All right. Thanks
Yeah.
for giving us your time and enlightening us with all these things. Okay. It was really great hearing you out today. All right.
Yeah.
So I think
So I think your second question was on CSR being able to reach out during these times remotely. Is a question, right? So I think, as I said, that after the government announced that any amount spent on COVID-19 will be considered under CSR, it has been a win-win for the organizations, though, and organizations have been looking out for NGO partners, especially in the areas where they have their plants and their factories and around those places. But the most important challenge that they have been facing has been, to be able to assess and ensure that the amount spent has been spent correctly and
right.
in these times, and so I think apart from that, just giving away the money does not close the CSR, because we know that giving away the money and ensuring it reaching the right person is a complete loop that has to run. So I think remotely, social media again plays a very important role. There has been a lot that has been done by organizations. If we talk about Tatas, they have been offering various courses during COVID for the youth through TCS, through Tata Steel, and the youngsters have been doing it. We have seen Coursera offering many courses and certifications to college students and stuff. But the CSR does not end there, actually, offering courses to the youngsters. And so I think remotely, it is only been possible through offering food is what I won't consider a remote thing, because but the other person has to just actually go there and be physically present and ensure the distribution is done. But as far as the remote processes are concerned, they've been majorly through internet and through social media is what I think have been possible, which actually limits the reach of the CSR during these times. Also ensuring that there have been companies who have been working on the mental fitness of their employees, of their workers, of their laborers. There have been companies who have suddenly come up with, their online systems completely during the COVID. They were not having online systems. So they had to create online systems. So I think this has taught us many things. That materialism not only is important. So I had recently written even on LinkedIn that what is your currency? Okay? So your currency should be, what is your currency? It should be happiness. It should be health. Now it should be sensitivity. It should be empathy. It should be giving out, reaching out. That should be the currency, because money has not been able to save people. Though it has been a little help for those people who are not having it. So in fact, we also have reached out through, and Indian society has been known to be reaching out and for philanthropy. We have in our roots the culture of langar and giving out food and giving out water on the roads. But and people have been donating medicines. But if I talk about reach, in these times, reach has been definitely barred because of the pandemic that we have been in, and because of the fear that it created amongst people. So many people are there who wanted to reach out, could not reach out because of only the fear that they didn't want to move out of their places and go out and reach out to people. So they were finding out different solutions online, maybe donating money. So I think remotely has been done by a lot many companies through CSR, but the reach definitely has been barred during these times.
Right. Because previously it was happening that the in-person things were happening. Okay, so let's say that
Yes,
if my company is planning out
yes,
a CSR
yes,
activity, we are going to the orphanage and then doing our best.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
but
yes, yes, yes. That human touch is gone. You
right.
know, that human touch is gone. So, and the most important aspect now has been maintaining not only the physical health, but I think after Corona, I'm crossing my fingers and we pray to God that it ends soon, would be maintaining the mental health of and the mental well-being of the people, of the complete population. I mean, we've been dealing with youngsters in my program currently. We've been dealing with youngsters. We have almost 400 trainees. There are some whose parents have lost jobs. There are some who are helping their families. They are taking our online sessions.
Mhm,
They are appearing for the Delhi University exams.
mhm,
They are helping their fathers at their shops after the lockdown opened. Uh, so there are a lot of the youngsters also going through a lot of stress,
mhm,
and we also had to enable the one-to-one kind of contact through telephones.
mhm,
There are many who have gone back to their hometowns. They were here in Delhi to be skilled and placed.
mhm,
They have gone back to their hometowns, so it has become difficult for us to connect with them over a Zoom call or over a WhatsApp video. So
mhm.
we have been calling them on phone and in trying to understand if they are okay. And so I think a lot needs to be done now, and even after the COVID is over. I
Mhm,
think the biggest challenge we'll be having is the economic slowdown that is being projected,
mhm.
and the hit it will have on the mental fitness of people.
Right. Because now the mentality is that even for the people who were initially working into the Delhi NCR, now since 4 months they have been in their hometown. So parents are like that, what's the point in going back over there when you don't have a job or things like that?
Yes, 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 yes. Now the mentality is also there, and not only that, I think Pragya, if I talk about my generation, we saw a transition. We saw a transition from we saw the phase of black and white television and
Mhm,
only Ramayana coming on a Saturday. We saw colored televisions. We saw no phones, those phones, with the wherein we had to dial and wait. We saw mobile phones which have very heavy with antennas, and now
right.
we see
And
those
charging even
modern
for the
phones.
incoming calls.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. We saw the space of having no electricity and
Mhm,
studying in a candlelight, having no inverter and bearing heat, to now having inverters and all the things. So I think uh, if I talk about our generation of people, it has seen all. So it has been able to see that transition coming and has been able to adapt. But if we talk about the young generation now, the kids who are going to grow up or who are even 17, 18, 19 years old, they have been born with mobile phones. They have been born with inverters around. They've been born with all those things around. So for them, it was a bigger challenge to be able to understand that they cannot go to a McDonald's.
mhm.
They cannot go to a Domino's. They cannot move out of the house. So I think for the younger generation, it is going to be a big challenge. A bigger challenge and responsibility lies with the older generation to ensure that they are mentally fit.
Mhm.
And as we've been seeing in the news, people are at home, so there are more quarrels, happening, more discords happening.
Mhm.
Uh, Children are seeing all that also.
Mhm.
Initially, they were not seeing that because they would go to school, they would go to college, they're not in there. Mother's going to office, father's going to work, so
Mhm.
things are okay. So I think a lot is happening and a lot lies on everyone's shoulder, um, to kind of come out together out of all this.
Right. Great. Great to know your perspectives and everything. And that seems quite practical. Okay, candid one. Actually, no gyan at all. All right. So thanks for your
Yeah, I
time.
think I think you all are Gyanis sitting out there.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
We are still in the learning
yeah,
phase.
yeah, yeah, and I consider myself the same, Pragya. I have had 20 years in the professional journey.
Mhm.
And I consider myself the same. So at times, I would even tell a trainee who is having no parents. I'll just share a little candid kind of an incident with you,
Mhm.
because I keep taking learning from people, and I think it is very, very important that we always consider that our glass is not full, because the moment we consider that the glass is full, the water, if anyone will try and pour water in, it will flow out, because the glass is always full with the ego and with it, all that thing that I know all kind of things. So one day, we have a system wherein I am the chief operating officer and I have master trainers reporting to me. The Delhi government project that we run on skill development. So one of the master trainers came one day and said, Manisha ma'am, these three trainees, they are non. I cannot manage them. Please manage them. They are beyond me.
Mhm.
So uh, I've been very good at counseling, so I think that connects with my point of being a special mother to a Down syndrome boy and a single parent. So I said, okay, you leave, and I sat down with those three boys in my cabin and said, what is the challenge? So said, Manisha ma'am, we don't do anything. The trainer said they don't listen. They give me a blank face whenever I'm training, they won't respond. They would just be talking among themselves and stuff. So would you imagine that after talking to all three of them for almost 15 minutes, one of them broke down and
Mhm.
actually started crying.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I asked him, I said, I won't name the person. So I said, what is the challenge? Said, ma'am, I don't have parents. I don't have mother. I don't have father. Both passed away in an accident. And from here, I go back and work at a hotel for arranging my fees for
Okay.
the course because I want a better job.
Mhm.
So, and there was a second one who had a similar story, and a third one who was living here with some relatives.
Okay.
So I think I told him, I said, if I was 19 years old and I didn't have parents and I was out of my town going to Delhi and working there and also doing a skilling course, I don't think I would have been able to manage when
Mhm.
I was 19 years old. So, those are little learnings that we keep getting, and the learning is always that we should always count our blessings. We're always in a better state as compared to the other person.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So that boy was never shaven. In the hotel industry, you have to be clean shaven.
Mhm.
And that day I took a promise from him. I said, we are there standing by. You don't have parents. Consider us as your parents.
Mhm.
But you have to become like this, And would you imagine he has been placed with Pride Plaza Hotel,
Okay.
and he managed the complete batch of 40, 50 trainees of hotel industry. And
Mhm.
he was the one who was ensuring everybody was grouped.
Okay.
He himself was also grouped.
Mhm.
So I think, as you rightly said, you are learning.
Mhm.
I'm also learning. I'm also learning. Yeah. So I think that continues.
Right. And that's actually a
Yeah.
lifelong process that will continue throughout our life.
Yes, 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 yes. Definitely. That's a lifelong process. It keeps happening. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So thanks again for your time today, and I think we are done for the day. Okay, so we'll keep sharing insights and everything with you. So
Yes, yes. Thank you, Pragya.
thank you. Bye. Have
Thank
a
you,
great day.
thank you. Bye. You too.